Hi, everyone, and welcome to Hope, Health, and Healing. Today we have Chef Mark Wright as we continue the journey through healing our community one recipe at a time. Hey, Mark, how are you today?
What's going on, David?
Are you excited about today's subject? We're going to talk about family. It takes a village, a little bit about if you have a pet, and we're also going to be talking about your plate, having your healthy meal, your own healthy meal, and also about taking care of yourself, your loved ones, and the community. So let's start with family. Let's talk a little bit about why you wrote about family in this book, and let's continue this subject and help health and healing as we discover your mind through your book, right?
Right. Hey, David. Hey, everyone. Welcome again to episode 4 Hope, Health, and Healing. Family. The cornerstone of civilization. Um, Family is an essential building block of our community, of our society, and I took a lot of pride when I was trying to input this particular topic because I know how important it is. It plays very important and critical role in education and social development in children by instilling, some very important societal values. You know, Family, according to some experts, can be considered one of I should say, the single most important influence on a child from the first moments through adolescence and all the way to adulthood.
Yeah, and the one thing about family when I think about it and cooking together and you talk a little bit about the book about how you can involve the child while you're cooking and you're doing family things together. So tell me a little bit about your thoughts about that as well.
Right. So I thought here that cooking together as a family was like a recipe for bringing the family together. Um, the importance of it cannot be understated, right? Cooking together foster family togetherness, right? Because it's a great place for the family to talk about food, talk about health, to talk about education, nutrition, important stuff like culture and ancestry, right? Um, and almost any related topic that would encourage and foster bringing the family together. I coined this part. It's a time of communion where we come together and we share. We really get involved in each other's life, right? So I also went on to talk about um, how important it is to eat together. I coined this part: cook, eat, play, and play together. That is fostering our recipe for building a strong family. So when we're cooking with a family, make it fun. Get everyone involved. Make it simple, right? It's an opportunity to create healthy and colorful and creative meals, but it should not be complicated. I feel that when we get the entire family involved in the whole cooking and preparation and the shopping uh, procedure, it kind of gives them a part of ownership in the meal. They can also take some bragging rights when everything turns out good, right? So the important stuff of getting the family involved is like divide up the jobs, ensure that one person, like everyone is responsible for chopping and meat preparation and cleaning and so that way everyone have a part in the entire nutrition endeavor, the entire plate. So getting everyone involved is a great way to get people to actually eat what they cook.
Well, and also when you talk about cooking together, it thinks about productivity. You feel productive. You feel like you're doing something. But also, I think that bringing the family together. I know you talk about bringing the phone and spending an hour away from the phone and things like that.
Right.
To just kind of have a communication. Going through this season that we've gone through, where now we're actually coming together as a family and eating together as a family and maybe cooking together right now. You're bringing out conversations that you probably haven't had in a long, long time, because technology has taken that out of it. But you talk about this in the book being as something like, when you talk about it takes a village, you talk about having this amazing time together, to really just come together even more through food, really, right? So tell me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. And, uh, just to back up a little bit, you just spoke about the pandemic, right? And this gives us an important opportunity to even foster some more family togetherness. This has caused, at least for the past months, when we were actually stuck at home against our will for most of us, right? So we have to find creative things to actually do to keep ourselves occupied and engaged, because we weren't accustomed to spending so much time with even with ourselves and our family. But there are like tons and tons of benefits of doing stuff together and eating together, because it really it encourages, and fosters family togetherness, and it also help kids to be well adjusted in school. It provides better and nutritional. It helps kids in their dietary intake, like for example, preventing weight problems, and an important part of growing up, eating disorders, right? There are tons and tons of kids that have so many eating disorders, but studies have shown that families that eat together, kids are less likely to have eating disorders. And of course, when you cook together, the family meals, of course, it saves a lot of time and money, right? All this uh, spills into this whole African proverb that talk about that coined this phrase, it takes a village, because it talks about the entire community just must interact with the children, with all kids, right, for them to experience and grow in a safe and healthy environment, right? And this proverb doesn't necessarily mean that the entire village is responsible for raising the kid, but it just understates that that everyone in the community has an important role, has a part in the upbringing and the raising of the kids in the community, right? David, you and I both know, if we come from that school where every mom in the community were our mom, right? So whenever our mom are not there, right? There's always someone who is actually who's actually looking over us for our safety and our well-being, and that is what that proverb is actually saying, that the entire community, the entire village, must take responsibility in the rearing, the upbringing, the correction, the direction for every kid in the community.
Yeah, I mean, when I listen to you talk about that part, it reminds me of my mother. My mom kind of adopts all my friends, one by one. And if they're in my life, she's going to call you her son or her daughter. And one of the things I remember when I was in high school or junior high, or playing sports, my mom would invite the whole team to come and eat pizza and hot dogs and blah blah blah. But it was a time where what we need as kids is like that opened up the conversation, And so she would ask anything, and we would tell her everything because about girls and about this and about that, because it was kind of the whole family thing where we're talking over food, right? But I think technology kind of put that aside a little bit, so we kind of have to go back and make time now. We have to kind of readjust, I think, right? And after you go through that, Mark, you talk about having a pet. You talk about shopping for healthy foods. So, what was your mindset about those a few things?
Right, David. This point is where I got a lot of information that I did not really know. Because I know it's kind of like a pet is kind of like ingrained in our community now. Like for me, for example, I'm one of the few people in my complex here who really do not have a pet. But what researchers have found out that there are many hidden psychological benefits of man's best friend, and it engages us in walking and playing. And they thought that from their studies, like that simple physical activity that we engage with our pet can actually lower your blood pressure and cholesterol and triglycerides level, which are important components of health, right? It also manages stuff like loneliness and depression. And of course, depression is a big one in our community because a lot of the high rates of suicides in our community, which is probably one of the third leading causes of death here in the United States, is actually suicide. So you tend to figure the important role that having man's best friend would actually play, because it actually increased companionship. It gives you an opportunity for socialization, right? So I put this there because it was an important factor. It was an important factor of community development. It was an important factor of social development because it helped you to socialize. It helped you to actually be a better you. A better you can only impact your community in a positive way. So having a pet, or I want to put, something moving, whether it's the pet aquarium, or you actually having, a four-legged animal, it actually adds a quality to your life and your existence. And we were talking about, especially people who live sedentary lifestyles, who are not accustomed to actually going outside, and they're working 9 to 5. They're right behind the desk. So having that experience, it actually compels them.
Well,
It actually adds that.
Well, yeah, for me, I don't have a pet because I'm never home. Well, unfortunately, through doing a season of quarantine, you have to be home. But I am a person. I believe pets need attention, just like children. So, but I do understand. For me, I am a social person. But there's people. You're right that their only social being is actually that pet. That pet can actually allow them to make friends. That pet can actually allow them to go for a walk, or maybe play with that animal, or it could be a cat or a dog or something like that. And at the same time gives them also responsibility, right? That they have to feed it, they have to take care of it. I remember when we were kids, they gave us a little egg, and we had to take care of the little egg, and we had to walk around with this egg without breaking it. So there's some kind of source of responsibility, taking care of. And also, I know of a fact, and I believe you wrote about that. People, because of their pets, they might even eat healthier because they even feed the pet healthier food sometimes. So there's a lot of things that can come out of that as well. So, and you added that in this book, and that's why I would say this book has so much information. Is, I thought it was just going to be recipes and about a gourmet chef, but it's so much more than that. So let's go into that, into shopping for healthy foods, and also you talk about My Plate, and you talk about creating the perfect meal prep. And I want to talk about that as well when you're finished, because I want to talk about Brick Your Healthy Meals and about what you've done for me as well. So tell me a little bit about that and how we're going to make people feel more excited about eating healthy, Mark.
Right. So for the entire meal and eating healthy experience, right? Shopping for healthy foods is like the fundamental. It all starts at the grocery store, right? It all starts from the place that we actually collect our supplies from, right? So it's important to make a grocery list so that we wouldn't forget anything, right? Organize your list, and of course, add items as needed. For example, for what I do, I always have my fridge magnet notepad. So in case I remember anything, anytime during my prepping, I would always just make a mental note of it, or I would actually write it down there. That way, I ensure that my list is complete, because you always tend to forget stuff when you actually at the grocery store, right? And by making a list and organizing it, you are able to actually bring the healthy experience into your home. So when you actually get to the grocery store, right, one of the fundamentals here is reading the labels. It's
Yes.
important. Read the labels, right? Rereading the labels give us it gives you important nutritional content, so that you can make the healthy choices, right? If you don't read the labels to know what the nutritional info that is contained in that can, right, you are bringing the unhealthy experience into your home. So if you bring in unhealthy experiences, items into your home, right, it would kind of deplete your health endeavor. It would actually deplete your cooking experience, right? So it all start there, right? And I just mentioned there are tons and tons of information here. At the back there, the label, we're not going to get too much into that, but here I just wanted to stress the importance of balance.
Yeah, I have to tell you, man, that labels are something that I learned so many years ago, especially when you're training clients, and you as a chef, you do a consultation, and I want you to talk a little bit about that as well, when you do a meal prep for people. But I will tell you that, when I started actually going to the grocery stores with my clients, because a lot of my clients were into the fitness industry, and they were, getting ready for competition. Also athletes that I was training for basketball, football, baseball, and reading the label, even like an energy drink, or even a drink for electrolytes and hydration. You look at the sugar content, and they'll say like, 18 grams of sugar, and it says, oh, and another 30 grams of added sugar. And that's in the label. So you read the first label, it says 18 grams of sugar. Or you see a pound cake, and it says fat-free. A pound cake that's made with butter. So for me, it's like, you got to read the label. And yeah, it might say fat-free, but it might be high in carbohydrates, or high in sugar, or high in other things, right? So you read the label, and it gives you a little bit more information on what's in it, because you think that this is something fat-free, and it isn't, because there's other factors that will cause it. It might just be no fat added, or no sugar added, or something like that. So labels are extremely important. But you do the same thing with your clients. We do a consultation. I remember when we first started with Brick Your Healthy Meals, and you started cooking the food for me, we talked about, this is when you were actually writing your book, and we do a whole consultation about my protein. I have one kidney, so I have to be very careful. People don't know that protein affects the kidney a lot. So I only eat about 25, 30 grams of protein per meal, and mark or make sure I eat that. So my protein is very specific. My carbs are very specific. and so is my vegetable. But we had a whole consultation about that, and you do that with your clients. So, talk about that, the meal prepping and planning that you do for your clients.
Hi, David. So here at Brickle Healthy Meals, we actually do a lot of meal prep and preparation for people with special dietary restriction. People want to lose weight and or get fit or just live, a full and balanced life, right? So here we would actually, like David was saying, I would have a consultation with all my clients and find out exactly what their dietary goals are, what their restrictions are, like what their likes, dislikes, they have any special life-threatening situations, special, allergies that can result from the food prep and preparation. And then we coined a meal plan that, a customized meal plan that is desired to enhance their dietary goals, right? So I think is the same if you are going to do meal prep and preparation in your home, right? We just talked about planning and ensuring that you have the correct dietary information. Is very important that you take that same analogy when you're going to do meal prep and planning for your family. You ensure what the dietary requirements is for the family, and you arrange and you separate and you customize your meals accordingly, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. No, as you talk about meal prep, let's close out this episode. We talk a little bit of you go into dining out. You also go into taking care of yourself, your loved ones, and your community. And I love this. You go into so many details. Now again, we're not going word for word. This is not an audiobook, but I want Mark to kind of share with us, tips. I mean, he does talk a lot about tips. So talk about dining out first, and then we're going to go into take good care of yourself, your loved ones, and the community as we close this episode today.
Um, right. So one of the reasons I included the dining out guide there, and there are lots of tips there. It was the dining out is one of the easiest places that we can derail our health endeavor, right? Because we're not able to do the correct proportioning and measurement of our macros and our micros and our vegetables exactly right. And also we are in company, so most times all of the dietary and nutritional guidelines pretty much go out of the window, right? But I included a couple of tips there, like even when you were out there, some of the portions like here in our society in the US, they are too large. It's
Yes.
always important to eyeball your plate, divide the plate in half, said, okay, this is what my meal plan should be, I'm gonna consume this, but then you just ask for the takeout box right there and then, and you put it away. Most times if you have it on your plate, you will
Eat it.
be forced and compelled to actually take another bite, and you might, before you actually know it, you might have consumed the entire portion. And then, when you dine out, pressure from friends, families, colleagues, and the people in your peer group can always be used as an avenue to sidetrack your dietary endeavor. So those are just things that you must be mindful of when you dining out. But it's a complete list of them. I have inputted there because I want you to be cognizant of them, right? And as we move on, it's important. I inputted the taking care of yourself factor to taking care of your loved ones and taking care of your community, because I figured that it was an important part of building, right? The important thing to do here is to take care of you. You only have one you. So it's important that you are your wholesome and healthy self in order to be a benefit to your family and of course your community. So just go outside, enjoy nature, practice healthy breathing, enjoy the aromatics of nature, be mindful, be thankful. And, we are going through some tumultuous times here. So gratitude is the gift of life in these days, right? When you have an opportunity to be graceful with another day, be grateful and also be happy. There's a lot of things, although they're turbulent times, a lot of things to be happy about, right? Eat right, eat balanced meals, exercise, maintain a healthy sexual relationship, get enough sleep is important, drink a lot of
Water.
Water is the beverage of life, right? And after you have made yourself whole, there are a lot of people who um, are a part of your circle, a part of your community that adds to your experience. So take care of the people who actually take care of you, who add some value to you, right? We negate some simple stuff like telling our family that we love them. The simple "I love you" to the kids or to the partner, right? For some of us, we either too macho, or some of us we probably think that we don't understand the effect of what that simple word can actually do in terms of like um, uh, building and I should say stacking the building blocks of the development for your family or for your partner. Make time. We live in a very busy time where we always don't have enough time. Guilty, right? So make time for your loved ones. Make time for your children. Make time for your partner. It's important to foster these meaningful relationship. Only if you have a wholesome you and a wholesome family, then you can actually build a wholesome community, because that family, yourself and the family, that is what you are sending out into the community, right? So when you're out there, right, as a community, whatever activities you can do to actually foster growth and development of your community, get involved in it, right? Like for simple stuff like growing healthy foods, petitioning your elected officials to make your community more walkable and bikeable, so where you can actually uh, get outside and do more outdoor activities wherever you can. Shop local. Remember, as we talk a little bit more further on, when you shop local, you actually circle those dollars back into your community, and you actually foster community development to support your small local business people. That will actually foster community development. Reduce wherever you can neighborhood waste, plant trees, encourage encourage any outdoor development as you can, and don't litter. Do not litter. It's our community, it's our home. Let's take care of it, right? Just like how you don't walk around, maybe some of us do, and just put our litter, our entire house, right? That's how it actually looks to our community. But it's fine if you want to be like that in your home, right? The community is for all of us, right? So we got to be mindful. We are building a place that is fostering togetherness and development, not only for us, but our family, our kids, our loved ones.
Amen. Well, as we finish this episode of Hope, Health, and Healing, and we're covering Chef Mark Wright, best-selling author, his book Healing Our Community, One Recipe at a Time. You can see that it's not just about food. You can see that it's not just about nutrition. It's about a recipe and it includes a lot of different factors. That's why I had to include this book in this show, because Mark gives us an outlook in so many different ways that I think are going to give us a healthier lifestyle. And of course, healing our community, right? And I love when he talked about, you, your loved ones, and your community, because nothing happens without you. So you have to eat healthy, be healthy, do better, have a balance, have gratitude, have joy, happiness in your life. That also translates into your loved ones that are around you all the time. And eventually, you can impact a community because of you and your loved ones having a balanced lifestyle and, of course, being healthy. So you can't impact anyone if you don't do it yourself. So I love how he broke it down into you, your loved ones, and your community. Again, this has been an episode of Hope, Health, and Healing as we cover Mark's book. We continue next week. We're going to have some subjects that might be a little bit kind of a subject matter that for some people they might not take a look at. But in Mark's book, he talks about it, because in order to heal a community, you have to talk about a lot of different subjects, including the ones that we're going to talk next week. So stay tuned to next week's show. Thank you again, Mark, for being part of Hope, Health, and Healing. And again, like I always say, I'm your host, David Octavio Gandell. Find hope, have faith, and live every day with a purpose. God bless you guys, and good night.